When I first started thinking about becoming a motivational speaker, I was paralyzed with fear, man. Like, I was just thinking all type of negative thoughts. And then I started to realize that it's just all in my mind. Like, there's nobody out there saying, hey Mike, you can't be this. Hey Mike, you can't be that. I was telling myself that. That was a big revelation for me, man. Like, a huge revelation. And when I came into that knowledge, I started to change those negative thoughts and turn them into positive thoughts. Like, I can do this. I don't have to be perfect. I'm perfect in my imperfections. I'm made for this. I can be the best. I will be the best. I will add value to as many people who I come in contact with. That's what I had to start telling myself. And once I started actually telling myself that, I had to start believing in it. Once I started believing in it, I had to start doing it. And so once I started doing it, I started walking in it. And then other people started telling it to me. Hey man, you added so much value to my life. Hey man, you are the best motivational speaker. Hey man, you need to get yourself out there. More people need to hear your message. And that all happened from me overcoming my fear. So here's the first step of overcoming your fear. One, you have to accept it. You have to accept that fear is always going to be there, no matter what. And once you accept it, you figure out ways to deal with it. The person you want to become, the things you want to accomplish in this life, the impact that you want to make on this world, all lies on the other side of fear, and it all depends on how well you deal with fear. So you have to realize that fear is there and figure out ways to overcome it. But the first step, like I said, is to accept it. Write that down. Accept that fear is there. You have to know that fear is there, but you can't let it be in the driver's seat. You got to tell it to take a back seat. Even though that it's there with you, don't let it paralyze you. Let it motivate you. Let it spring you into action. Let it inspire you to do better and to perform better. Because to be honest, when I feel fear, when I feel it like in my stomach, I feel those butterflies in my stomach, I feel my knees start to knocking and everything like that, I know something great is about to happen. I know that greatness is about to come up out of me, and I welcome it. Every time I get up to speak, I'm like, okay, the fear is here. These people about to get it. I'm about to give my audience the best that I got. Really, fear became my friend. And if you notice, I'm giving you guys steps within steps. Like, this first step is just to accept it. But I'm telling you everything that came with me accepting that fear is there. Like, fear became real to me, and fear became my motivator and inspiration rather than my paralyzer. Step 2 is to identify it. Be honest with yourself whenever you feel fear. Call it out. One point I do want to make is that it is okay to feel fear. Once you feel fear, the trick is you have to leverage that fear into courage. And like I said from the first point, this all just build up to on each other. From the first point, I said let fear be your motivator. Let fear be your inspirator. Once you identify that fear, you can give it a name, you can call it out, and then you will be in control of it. Because it is no longer in control of you. Because sometimes what happens is, we as a people, when we start to feel fear, we just think that it's the same type of fear. You know what I mean? And we just like give into it. We'll let it stop us. We won't let it motivate us and inspire us, but it will paralyze us to the point where we just stay stuck. And that's what we don't want. We don't want to stay stuck. So you have to identify your fear. You have to see that fear as an opportunity rather than an obstacle. Step 3, we have to feel our fear. We as a people, we have a tendency to try to analyze our fears. And that is the worst thing we can possibly do whenever we feel fear. We have to allow ourselves to feel it, because once we analyze it, it actually increases our fears rather than diminishing it. So we have to allow ourselves to feel fear. Step 4 is to face it. Now I want you to do me a favor. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to picture a dark, scary figure chasing after you. And you just run it. You run it. Now I want you to stop and turn around and face that fear. Open your eyes. If this was a dream that you were having, one or two things happen. One, the dark figure, scary thing that was chasing you, it disappeared. Or two, you woke up hyperventilating. Either way, the figure is no longer chasing you. This reversal of the desire to run away is called the reversal of desire tool. Whenever you enter into flight or fight mode, try to switch your brain over to fight in order to better deal with your fear. My last step is to practice your fear. It might seem crazy, but you have to practice your fears. Practicing your fears helps them seem less dramatic. So when situations arise, you will be better prepared for them. Think of your fears as like a skill. Like, let's say I want to get better at knitting. The only way I can get better at knitting is to knit. The only way you can get better at controlling, accepting, identifying, and facing your fears is to practice it. And once you practice them, you will realize that they were really nothing from the beginning. Once you start practicing them over and over and over again, you will realize that, hey, I'm in control of this, and this fear is not in control of me. Like I said earlier, I'm in the driver's seat. My fear is there, but it's in the back seat. Thank you for rocking with me today, but before I leave you, I want to leave you with 2 points, with 2 definitions of fear. Fear can stand for forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. Which one would you choose?